Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome to Unity Orlando. Our opening statement this morning is I am a child of God and I live in the kingdom of health and abundance. Let's all affirm that together. I am a child of God and I live in the kingdom of health and abundance. All right, let's all close our eyes, take a nice deep breath in, and let's affirm that together in the silence. And so it is. And now if you'd like to stand and help us sing our joy song this morning, it's called Lightworkers Greeting Song. What if before we were born, we chose a life to live? What if before we shared, we chose a life to give away a truth today, and hear the angels say, we all let love lead the way. We all let love lead the way. We all let love lead the way. What if before we could breathe, we chose to speak of love? What if before we could sing, we chose to be one of all the voices of an angel's choir, singing wisdom and our heart's desire, speaking absolute truth and love. Speak of absolute truth and love. Speak of absolute truth and love. What if we were God's love, living in God's love? What if the Christ in me has set my spirit free? Then I realize what I've hoped is true. The Christ in me beholds the Christ in you. The Christ in me beholds the Christ in you. The Christ in me beholds the Christ in you. The Christ in me beholds the Christ in you. The Christ in me beholds the Christ in you. The Christ in me beholds the Christ in you. All right, thank you. You may be seated.
Good morning and welcome to Unity Orlando. I'm Reverend Ronnie Kenny and I am your platform person this morning. Very glad to have you here from home and all of you here in person. Thank you so much for being here. We've got a number of announcements. You could probably give them to me. Do we have any visitors here today? Yes, we do. Welcome. Glad to have you with us. Brian will give you a packet if he hasn't already. We're glad you decided to be with us today. And after service, you can come down to the end of the corridor, and we've got coffee and refreshments to share with you. So thanks for being with us. Okay, for those of you at home, the notes are downloadable. You can go to today's lesson on our website, unityorlando.org. and on the services page, tap where the notes is, and then you can download them at home. If you'd like to order from Amazon, you can always help support our church by going to our website again, scroll down the bottom and hit the Amazon Smile button. And anything that you spend, our church will get a small portion of it. Every little bit helps, so thanks for your cooperation there if you care to. Midweek prayer and meditation with Susan and I is the first and third Wednesdays of every month. We just had one this week, so if you haven't watched it, join us there. And they're also stored on Facebook and our own website if you'd like to check them out at another time. Navigating A Course in Miracles with my husband Paul and I continues on Zoom Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. If you'd like to join us and haven't been with us before, you need to get me your email. You can email me, mine's on the website, and I will send you a link. We have a great group. You don't have to be an expert in anything. We'll bring you up to snuff on that. It's a lot of fun. Unity's men's group meets 4 p.m. every Wednesday at the Starbucks corner of Howell Branch and 436 in Winter Park. They also meet here in person on the third Sundays of each month in the Courtyard Classroom. Now, the Soul Group, our seniors group, meets on the fourth week of every month, and this Friday is the last meeting for the year. And they're having back, by popular demand, Dr. Jake Hyde, who is the son-in-law of one of our peoples here. His topic will be medical myths and misunderstandings. People absolutely loved him the last time he was here. It'll be from 11:30 to 1:15. Because it is the last of the year, Joanne is providing baked ham and chicken, so come on out. She'd like to have an RSVP, but you can show up if you want to anyway. Don't tell her I said that. Our chaplains pray every evening at 8 p.m. We stop wherever we are and spend a few moments in prayer. We'd love for you to join us with that. That's how Unity was started with Charles and Myrtle. So the combined effort of our prayer time is amazing. The theme for October is I Am. And like I say, anywhere you are, just stop for a few moments and pray with us. Reverend Bob's lesson this morning is Leadership Through Service. And we're going to turn this back over to Brian, but I just wanted to let you guys know, 20 years ago this week, Reverend Bob married Paul and I right back here. 20 years, so take it away. Thank you.
And Ronnie, it's so good to have you back. Welcome back. Yeah. Reverend Ronnie. I haven't said your name over the mic in a long time. Reverend Ronnie. Awesome. All right, great. And here's a song. It's actually I wrote it. It's a kind of a coming to age kind of song, but it works for anything that if you have kind of wondering about what direction to go in, maybe to serve, which kind of spoke to me. And this is called Compass Readings. Here I am, I've arrived at the crossroads, a new choice at the fork in the road. Give me strength, give my soul direction, a new direction that my life can flow. Which way is right, dear Lord? I'll leave it up to you. I started out with the right intention. Whichever path your light will light my way. The needle of your compass spins around in a circle. The needle through the glass stops where I shall pass through the glory, through the the joy that will last, through the memories, through the good times in my past, through the energy that makes life go by so fast. Light my way on my path like your true light only can. Give me joy in my soul direction, one that loves me, one that meets my needs. Tell me all your secrets of your laws in my dreams, and tell me right before I sleep your love washes me in streams. Through the glory, through the joy that will last, through the memories, through the good times in my past, through the energy that makes life go by so fast. Light my way on my path like your true light only can. Light my way on my path like your God light only can. Light my way on my path like your Christ light only can.
Oh, that was wonderful. Thank you all. Well, I'm going to repeat what Brian said. It's wonderful to see Reverend Ronnie back up in the pulpit again, even just for the announcements. Yeah. And 20 years ago, you're trying to make me feel really old. Yeah, you're trying to make him feel really old. Okay. That works. How are you all doing? Yeah. I guess 'tis the season to think about leadership, right? I don't know whether you got all kinds of stuff in the mail, but I do. I think everybody else does. All kinds of political advertisements, this and that and the other. I'm going to talk about the spiritual side of leadership and how, in the end, every single one of us needs to be a spiritual leader. It's Leadership Through Service is the title. Well, if you look around the world today, it sure seems like we're slipping backwards, not forwards. People seem to think that to be a leader, you have to dominate the people around you. That's what leadership is all about. Being the strongest, the most, the one who can subjugate anyone who doesn't think like they do. Okay? Keep them all pinned down. That's not leadership. Not according to Jesus. Leadership is about service. It's about serving those that you profess to lead. It's about helping to make life better for them. And I'm not here today to talk about politics. I'm here to talk about life. Jesus said leadership was about serving those you lead, and you're here. The reason you're here is to serve the good of the whole. To serve the good of the whole. That's why you came in. That's why your soul entered this body. I know there are people who say, you entered this body in order to enter a race, to try to beat everybody else around you, to gather the most toys. But I like the thing that says when you die, the one who has the most toys isn't the winner. That isn't the way it works. In Mark 9:35, Jesus said, "He who wishes to be first, let him be the last of men, and the servant of and some of our politicians need to hear this, the servant of every man. The servant of every man. That's what spiritual leadership is about. In Mark 23:11, he who is greatest among you, let him be your servant. You know, I was ordained in the early 70s, well, 73. And in the 70s, I spent a lot of my time working with YOU at Miami Unity. And we built this phenomenal YOU group. Lots of energy, lots of excitement, and lots of leadership. We had kids that I thought had real potential, so I cultivated leadership within them. And I became their coach when it came for running for office. Okay? And one year, the pinnacle of that is that 1 year from Miami Unity, from our little chapter of 20-25 kids, we had the regional representative, the alternate regional representative, and the international president, representing thousands of YOUers. Why were these kids so successful in moving into these positions? Because I took them aside before every election and I said, let's be clear what this is about. You do not get up there and tell them how wonderful you are or how great you are. You get up and tell them how much you want to serve them and give them a vision of what you can do in this position that will make YOU better for them. It seemed to always work. The reason it worked is because they meant it. But in the early days, sometimes you don't know which you're supposed to concentrate on. I'm great, or I'm here to make you great. That's what a real leader concentrates on. Did you ever, some of you were here long enough to have met Ellie and Ethel Meyer. They were the very core of the Unity movement. They started in the very early days with Charles and Myrtle, and they moved on and became tremendous leaders. And they were the founders of this church. And in their older years, they sat, well, in this structure, it would have been right over there. We were a little different when I first came here. The beauty of Ellie and Ethel is, here is one of the greatest spiritual leaders still living within the Unity movement. And every time you talk to them, they made you feel important. That's true greatness. That's true leadership. You can be a leader wherever you are by choosing to do what is good for the whole. Not just to dominate yourself or to represent a few people, but what is good for the whole. And a true leader is not looking for adoration. He or she is looking to serve. That's the driving force. And you say, but I don't have a lot of, I'm not running for office. And in this day and age, I think that's probably a good thing. It's a rough world out there. But wherever you find yourself, a leader is needed. If nothing else, a consciousness leader is needed. And you lead by demonstration, not by forcing your opinion on others. but by demonstrating what can be. That wins over far more people around you and does far more good for the whole than trying to force people into what you think is good for them. Demonstrate and they'll follow. And I am now not talking about these elected positions that are so prominent here during election season. I'm talking about you in every gathering in life. Whether it's two of you together, a family group, or another type of group that you've been in. Every one of us has some areas of our lives in which we have an opportunity to give service. And every time you serve, you actually lead. He who is greatest among you, let him be your servant. So let's talk about service for a minute. Alone, aside from leadership, service itself is a phenomenal experience, a phenomenal energy. Service provides you with purpose. And purpose enriches your life and makes it all worthwhile. We all yearn for purpose. It's amazing. People were like, you watch people do things that are crazy. They volunteer in a little area, and when they find it fills a need, suddenly they can throw their whole selves into it. And they're going, yeah, it gave me a sense of purpose. I felt like I belonged. I felt like I had something to give to the world. So often we're not sure what we got to give to the world. And when you have purpose, your life becomes exciting, it becomes rich, it becomes full. Sitting around gets old after a while. And then you go out and you seek a purpose. Doesn't have to be anything grand. You just need a purpose in whatever little corner you can find. Pursuing pleasure or entertainment works for a little while, but eventually it becomes empty. Unless you can find a way to give yourself to life. You see, finding purpose anchors you to life. It invigorates you. And to live a truly fulfilling life, you're going to have to feel that sense of purpose. Without it, you always feel a little incomplete. A little like you don't belong. Let's talk about giving to life versus taking from life all the time. We are raised and we are taught. Take from life. Take the best you can. Work hard to take what you need. And if you don't take care of yourself, nobody else will take care of you. Well, I suppose to a degree, that last one may be true. But the truth is, the way you get ahead is not by taking, but by giving. If you truly give yourself to your business, it's going to prosper. They used to say, if you want to prosper, find a niche, something that needs to be fulfilled, and fill it. If you can find an area where there's a need and you can go in and provide that need, you're going to have a thriving business. You're going to get rich. Find a need and fill it. Well, that's definitely purpose, isn't it? If you give to life, really give yourself to life. In any of its little forms. In anywhere you find it. See, that's why I say you don't have to be the big honcho running things at the top. That's not necessary at all. Wherever you are, wherever you go, if you can give yourself to what's happening there, and give support, give service, give what is needed in that situation, your life is going to be rich. It's going to be full. And in the end, you're going to prosper. So we say, I am here to make the world a little better place because I passed through it. We need to drill that into ourselves. Every day, I am here to make the world a little better because I lived this day. What can you do? You're always looking for ways to make the world a little better place. And then add to that, I am here to serve God with my service. That is, I serve the good of the whole. Because God's moving through the whole. God's moving through it all. God is moving through all of life. Are you serving the whole? Are you making it a better place? So I'm here to serve God in whatever tiny way I can. It doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be admired by a lot of people. Just serve in whatever little way you can. And you'll begin to feel that sense of purpose. Only when you truly give yourself to something does it become yours. And only when you truly give yourself to life will you feel like you belong. It's what you give, it's not what you get. Get is what happens after you give, automatically. It's what you give. Been around long, some of my stories came from it's been a whirlwind couple of years. I got married, and then my son talked me into selling my house because I was ready to sell. I just thought it was too much work. He said, come on. If you really want to sell and you think this is the time you ought to do it, you should. So I sold my house and its 1,000 projects that I would never get to complete. I was losing the battle year by year. And we moved into Patty's home. But I got to tell you, I lived in that house for 28 years. And Patty's house we moved into, but it didn't feel like my house. And I realized the only way to make it my house was to invest myself in it, to give myself to it, to look around and say, this needs to be fixed, that needs to be fixed. I'm going to work on the landscape. I'm going to put in plants here and there and the other. That's how you make it yours. You give to it. And of course, I put a chunk down on the mortgage. I had money from the house. Now it's beginning to feel like mine. Does your life feel like yours, or is it rented? It's yours if you truly invest yourself in what you are doing, where you are, and using your life to demonstrate how the world can be a little better place. Because demonstration is the way you lead, not by telling everybody they ought to do it, but by demonstrating so others want to follow. Let your light so shine before men that they will see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. That's how you lead. So, where are we? Wherever you are, look for a way to serve. You can find a sense of purpose wherever you are in life. Wherever you are in life. Say, well, basically I go to the grocery store and that's all I do with my life. Okay. let's fill this trip to the grocery store with a sense of purpose. Let's go with the intention of spreading a little bit of joy by smiling at people when I walk through the aisles, instead of urging that they get out of my way. By praising the cashier on the way out, and by choosing healthy food with a little bit of the other. But I can give it a sense of purpose. I can make it a rich experience, even though it's a simple thing like going to the grocery store. People ask, there's like an inner circle. There's people who seem to, be the inner circle of this church. How do you get into that circle? And over the years, I've always said, by giving yourself to the church, by owning the church, by not just saying, yeah, that probably needs to be done, and you ought to do this, but saying, I could do that. You giving money and support is part of the way you become the church. You just invested yourself in it. Remember, I fixed everything around the house, but I also put a chunk on the mortgage, okay? I want to invest in my home. And if this is your church home, that's the same way. Some come, and this will always be true. Some come to Unity in great need, find exactly what they're looking for, and then leave. We have those who cycle through. They come needing a healing, they get their healing. They come needing to clean up their lives, they clean up their lives, get out of here. Come needing prosperity, they finally figure that out and then drift away. The bottom line is people often come to Unity, and we pride ourselves on that. People come here and get what they need. But you want to know who the leaders are? They're the ones who stay after they got what they needed and continue to support, because without them, it wouldn't be here for the next cycle of people who wanted to come and get what they needed. They're my real partners, the ones who stayed, because they're making sure this church is here for the next group that comes in, bedraggled and looking to make something out of their lives. Some of whom will go on, and a few of which will become through service. They serve with their presence and their support over the years. They serve by making sure this church is here for everyone else down the road. There is one more way that you make this church and you become a leader within the church. You apply the spiritual principles that we teach. When people do that, others take note, and they become consciousness leaders within the church. When you're applying those principles and they're working in your life, you're helping to spread the message through demonstration, which is what real leadership is about. So there's a practice I'm going to suggest. Each morning, get up and ask yourself, what can I do in my little corner of the world to make this world a better place? It can be as simple as picking up a piece of trash, and as important as stopping to help when someone on the side of the road is truly in need of help. It can be whatever. It can be anything. Then throughout your day, look for divine assignments. I mean, if you start realizing I'm here to serve God, I am here to serve the highest good of the whole. God, what do you want me to do? If you keep that mindset while you're walking through your day, you'll find you have assignments. Assignments come. You know, something gets plopped in your face and you say, okay. And, you know, I remember the story of the guy who said, I stopped at this accident to help, and I walked up to the person laying on the ground, injured really badly, and the EMTs were not quite there yet. And he said, will you pray with me? And I looked around. I thought, surely someone a little closer to God is going to show up for this. And I realized no one was there. I realized that was my assignment. If it's my assignment, I don't even have to be competent at this. I just have to do the best I can and know that God is going to move through me. So consequently, he says, so I did my best. I prayed with him, and he was quite satisfied. Then the EMTs showed up. Sometimes the assignment in front of us, we look around and go, surely there's somebody else can do this. And there's nobody else there. And we realize, oh my God, this is mine. This is what I need to do. And sometimes it's something simple, like handing out praise. I remember the day that I was checking out and cashier dropped her pen but caught it before it hit the ground. I said, you're good. The smile that burst across her face, it was like no one had ever said that to her. I'm sure someone had. But just that moment of, you're good. You know, that was what was needed to make the world a better place. You'll find assignments everywhere you look. You'll find it in things that need to be done, people who need to be helped, praise that needs to be given. Something's ajar, you can put it back in place. And something is broken and you can see that you can fix it, fix it. When you see something, don't just say, someone ought to take care of that. Realize it. I saw it. I could do it. It just might be my divine assignment. And realize and remember, I'm here to serve God and serve the greater good of the whole. Whatever I do, I'm going to serve the greater good of the whole wherever I go. We are all the messengers of God, whether you realize it or not. And the more you're willing to accept that, the more assignments you'll be given. But today, I want to present a very special form of service and spiritual purpose that anyone, and I do mean anyone, can participate in no matter what your circumstances, whether you're bedfast or in the thick of it. And it's a form of service that is deeply needed. The world needs leaders who are willing to use their minds, heart, and lives to hold the high ground in consciousness, even though the masses slip into anger, fear, and sorrow. We live in a world that seems to cultivate those qualities right now. It's amazing what's going on out there. And the world really needs people, leaders, who are willing to hold the high ground. Say, that's the way it is. As important as all the other forms of service are, humanity's greatest need right now, if you want to change the world for the better, you must help change the thought atmosphere. Whether we know it or not, we share a thought atmosphere. Just try walking to a room where everyone is freaking out, and you'll feel it. You start wanting to freak out yourself. That's the way it is. All minds are connected. We aren't real conscious of that, but it happens anyway. It's still there. And so we need to change the environment in which human beings live if you want, that is, the thought environment, the invisible environment, the energies that surround us, if we want people to start behaving better. Charles Fillmore wrote it this way: the work that the overcomer does for the world is to help establish a new human race consciousness. He would use the words race consciousness. Now we're talking 100 years old writing. And what he meant was human race. He didn't mean ethnicity. The race of humans. We need a new human race consciousness. And anyone who has faith in spirit and the power of the word spoken in faith can send it forth. And like radio waves, it will be picked up by receptive minds everywhere. Remember the old saying about there's 1,000 points of light out there? I wasn't always happy with the way it was used politically, but I will say it's true. You can reach out, and there are thousands of points of light out there in the thought atmosphere. And if you're going to radiate joy and love, these are just going to soak it up and reflect it again. You know, it's like when someone is happy around you, it's a whole lot easier to be happy, right? Okay. When someone feels joy, you can feel joy. When someone feels love, it's easier to open your heart. And when we're radiating that into the thought atmosphere, the only thing that's assailing them is not anger, fear, and sorrow. But they also can feel just a little bit of this other floating around, this light up there that can be incorporated into their being. It's like, I can feel it. That's great. Yeah. And when you radiate light into the thought atmosphere, light grows phenomenally. So what are you radiating into the thought atmosphere? On an invisible level, this is where you can find your purpose. I don't care if you're stuck in a bed or you're out traveling rush hour. You can find your purpose in serving the good of humankind by filling the atmosphere with a little more joy, a little more love and compassion and tolerance, and a little more peace and harmony. Now, you got to feel these things. You can't angrily tell everybody to get peaceful, which is the way it's usually done. Get peaceful. If you were more harmonious, we'd get along. And I'm thinking, yeah, okay. That isn't the way it works. Remember, I forget his name now, but he said you don't attract what you want. Who is that? Wayne Dyer said you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. You don't place in the thought atmosphere what you say. You do, but the words are filled with the energy that you say it with. You've got to be peace. You've got to be harmony. You've got to be joy. You've got to be love, and you've got to be light. And you've got to then radiate that into the world intentionally so that others can pick it up and it can be reinforced in their lives. Joshua 24:15. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And as for you and your house, which is your thought house, your consciousness, you need to make that commitment. I will serve the Lord, not anger, fear, and sorrow. I'm not going to serve those. Now, are we going to get sucked in? Oh, yeah. That's what Earth is about. It's trying to distract us from who we are. But every day we're going to make this commitment. I'm going to spend some time. Every day I'm going to commit to serve the Lord with the thoughts and feelings that I'm radiating. Am I going to fail some of the time? Yeah. And then I'm going to get back on the horse and ride again every time I fall off. We're going to meditate upon light and goodness and see it spreading throughout the world. You said, but the world isn't looking like that right now. Yeah, in spite of appearances. You know what that means, right? It looks like crap. I thought a long time before I said that. But underneath that, we need to know the light is still shining. So we're going to meditate on that. We're going to consciously choose to turn away from fear and anger as quickly as possible, though everyone around us is showering us with theirs. That's for sure. And we're going to spend our free time thinking about beauty and goodness in the world, not stewing on the injustices, the threatening catastrophes, and the horrible experiences that many in the world are facing. I'm not saying they aren't. But that isn't where we want to dwell. If you can do something about it, do it. And if not, keep your attention on the goodness. Each day declare God is in charge in spite of all the appearances, because it really often looks like that's not the case. Last night I was saying to Patty, my mind is boggled with what's going on in the world right now. This chess game has gotten so complicated, I don't see any way out. But deep inside, I know that it's looked that way before. And something greater has moved. And we've gotten through it. And I have to know that in spite of appearances, in spite of the fact that my mind cannot figure out a way out, there is. And Spirit will move. I need to know it's going to work out. Even though I can't figure it out. Elon Musk can't figure it out, and he thinks he's the smartest man in the world. None of us can figure it out. But there is a way out. And God's in charge. And that's the way it's going to go. So, each day declare God is in charge, in spite of the appearances. See goodness triumphing in our world. Hold to the higher possibilities and radiate into the thought atmosphere love, joy, and peace. That's your job. That's how you lead the world higher. By stepping up there yourself and demonstrating it. Demonstrating these qualities in the face of all that's going on. And there'll be that 1,000 points of light all around you, souls that are receptive, that are ready to pick up and join you in the joy, the love, the harmony, and the peace. Then add another dimension to it and image this goodness that you radiate being picked up by all those souls. Just know that's what's happening. If you know you're throwing it into the wind, you're throwing it into the wind. Be it done to you according to your faith, and your faith is what you know is happening. If you know it's being picked up by receptive minds everywhere, it is. To a degree, it's happening anyway, but it becomes powerful when you're not just speaking the word, but you're speaking it with faith. You are knowing it's lifting humanity. When you do this, when you image and declare God is in charge and see it all happening in spite of the appearances, that's when you're acting as a consciousness leader. And this world needs leaders everywhere. James Della Freeman once wrote a poem entitled Every Man a Minister, because he said we don't need a clergy. We need everyone in every walk of life representing God, not just the clergy. Every one of you is a minister to this world. This world. Sometimes we get so caught in being the victim of this seemingly unjust world that we forget the message of 1 John 4:7, which reads, "You are of God, and that which is in you is greater than that which is in the world." You're not its victim. It only seems that way. I remember a movie in which I think it was the President of the United States is saying to someone, "It may seem like you have me over a barrel, but it only seems that way." And for us, it may seem like you're the victim of this world, but it only seems that way. Find a sense of spiritual purpose, both in the outer world, serving wherever you can, and in your mind. And you'll not only find a richer life, which I will guarantee you, but you'll also become an overcomer. Those who are the consciousness leaders helping to lead this world through a very difficult period and on to greener pastures. Let's close our eyes. And let's go into meditation with that statement from 1 John. I am of God, and that which is in me is greater than that which is in the world. Go deep within. Travel within to the center of your being through your heart. And there in your heart, that altar where you sit in God's presence, I am of God. I'm a child of God. I'm a spiritual being who just for this moment is doing this human thing. But I'm an eternal spiritual being. I am of God. And we now think of the higher realms, of that great being of light within you that we'll call your soul. I am of God, and that which is in me is greater than that which is in the world. There is nothing the world can throw at me that can destroy who I am. Though I suffer, though my body fall away, I am of God. So that which is in me, that is greater than anything the world can throw at me. And as you feel that inside of you, and it's no longer just words, realize I am here to serve God. I'm here to serve the greater good of the whole through my life. I'm the servant of the Most High. And I have a higher agenda than this outer human agenda. I am here to serve God. I am here to serve the greater good of the whole, to make this world a better place, because I walked through it. So as you realize that you're here to serve God, see yourself accepting assignments. Doing something, giving words of praise, helping anonymously, putting things right when you see them and you can. Image that which is in you that is greater than that which is in the world. Image yourself that powerful spiritual being, radiating light into the thought atmosphere. You've opened your mind and heart that God's divine energies can flow through you to help lift others around you. Image receptive minds everywhere, picking up on the goodness that you're radiating. As you look out at your world, and in spite of all that's going on, you say, God is in charge in every area of our earth. And through all the seeming chaos, a higher order shall arise. See God's light shining from your heart into the thought atmosphere and spreading from mind to mind into into every household around you. And radiate into that same thought atmosphere love and joy. Feel it for a moment. Joy and love. And as you feel it, know others are picking up on it everywhere. Remember the beauty of nature and feel the awe it inspires in you. And radiate it into the thought atmosphere that others may join you. Radiate the realization of healing life and the gratitude for it. The realization of abundance and opportunity. And feeling within you peace and harmony. Underneath all that you're dealing with in the outer world, feel that peace and harmony. Know that the spirit of peace and harmony is moving through you into the thought atmosphere, and literally that spirit is moving throughout our planet. Underneath all the turmoil, peace and harmony are preparing to rise. And now realize it is not I. It's not the one who's doing all this radiating. It is not I, but the spirit within me that does the work through me. God, thy will be done through me, through each and every one of us. Thy wonderful will for goodness in this world be fulfilled. Thank you, God. Amen. And with that, I'm going to ask the usher to come forward. Oh, that's right. I have to say a little, don't I? For the online people, how can you give of yourself? Here we go. If you want to give your offering, go to the home page at the end of service. Hit the Donate Now button, and you can use a credit card or PayPal. You can pull off our address and mail us a check, or as I say, you can call the office if that's easier, and arrange for regular offerings. As we give, it is multiplied and returned to us from life many times over. It's how we create abundance. So let's affirm together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. Thank you, God. Amen. Brian, it's all yours, and everyone who's backing you up.
Thank you, Reverend Bob. Here's a song called Give and Take. Show the way my soul will shine on the path that's absolutely surely mine. Lead the way we know is true on the path of light with you. It's not a war that when we give, we are given. How when we serve, it's a happy place we all live in. My resurrection is a choice in new direction to a good place in my heart. I'm in a good place in my heart. Here we go, walking in light. Truth and unknown, the darkest night. It's a journey we all make, with a process give and take. It's not a war that when we give, we are given. How when we serve, it's a happy place we all live in. My resurrection is a choice in new direction, to a good place in my heart. I'm in a good place in my heart. Lead the way, my soul will shine on the path that's absolutely, truly mine. Lead the way we know is true. I'm on the path of light with you. It's an award that when we give, we are given. How we serve, it's a happy place we all live in. My resurrection is a choice in new direction, to a good place in my heart. I'm in a good place in my heart. Guide us walking in light. Guide us through the unknown, lighting up the darkest night. It's a journey we all take, with a process give and take. It's a process give and take. It's not a war that when we give, we are given. How when we serve, it's a happy place we all live in. My resurrection is a choice in new direction, to a good place in my heart. I'm in a good place in my heart. I'm in a good place in my heart.
Thank you. I'd say that was perfect. Yeah, I could have just skipped the talk and let you sing, right? Okay. Thank you all. It's beautifully done. Thank you for being Unity Orlando. You're the leaders, the consciousness leaders, those who are always here, and make sure there's a church for the others who arrive. It's a real sense of purpose, and I am grateful. Well, next week I'm going to be talking on dispelling darkness. You know, it's the day before Halloween, so I figured, okay, dispelling darkness. Let's all rise and radiate into the world our prayer of protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. God bless you all. Have a wonderful week.